so our second day of 10.4 is going to include finding the surface area of prisms and cylinders. And the first thing we're going to do is find the surface area of the composite figure. So we've actually found the area of composite figures in 2 dimensions, and now we are going to apply that to 3 dimensions. Right, so we have 2 shapes here. Right? The shape on the bottom is what? A rectangular prism. Okay? And the one on the top is a triangular prism. Okay? So the first thing we'll do is we'll find the surface area of the rectangular prism. Okay, so you might need your notes from yesterday too if you don't remember some of your formulas. So the surface area for a rectangular prism is going to be the perimeter of the base multiplied by the height plus 2 times the area of the base. Okay, so remember those are variables we talked about yesterday, the perimeter of the base and then the area of the base. Okay, so if I look at the base here, just going to highlight the base for you. To draw a little picture so you guys know where that's coming from. So the sides are going to be 4 and 2, 4 and 2. All right, so Chloe, what's my perimeter going to be for this base? Nope. So, yeah, so you're going to do 4 plus 2, which is 6, and then 6 plus 6, which is 12, right? So 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2, which is going to be 12. Okay, and then we're going to do the area of the base. Okay, and Brandon, how do I find the area of the base? Yep, good. So for this one, it's going to be what? Good. So 4 times 2, which will give you 8. Okay. So I'm going to substitute in the perimeter 12. Now the height is given. If we refer back here, you can see the height is going to be 3. So I'm going to substitute in 3 for my height, okay, which is given to you on this side right here. And then 2 times, which we found the area, which was 8. So 12 times 3 is going to be what? 12 times 3? 36 plus 16. So when you're adding these together, 36 plus 10 is 46. 46 plus 6 is 52. Okay, so you don't even need your calculators. Okay, so that's the surface area for the rectangular prism. Okay, now we're going to find the surface area of the right triangular prism. Okay, so again, your surface area formula is the perimeter times the height plus double the base. Right? Now for this one, your base is going to be a triangle. And I will highlight that for you. Okay, so your base doesn't have to be on the bottom, and in fact in this one it definitely won't be, because the bases should be parallel to each other. Okay, and there's nothing parallel to that triangle on the bottom, the rectangle on the bottom. Okay, remember the lateral faces are those rectangles. So if I'm going to find the perimeter and the area, I'm just going to draw this out here, and then we can label it. Okay, now we can see that this side is 3. Okay, Grace, what is this side going to be?
4.
Yes. Okay, and where does that come from?
The base of the rectangular prism.
Good. Okay, so you can see that the base of the rectangular prism is 4, and so those are going to be the same. Okay, now we don't know what this side is, but Tony, how can I find that missing side? Good, because it's a right triangle. Okay, so if it's a right triangle, then you can use the Pythagorean theorem. Right, so then I can do 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared, which is 9 plus 16. This is a really common triangle. So this side is going to be 5. Remember, it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle, which is a popular Pythagorean triple. Okay, so now I can find the perimeter. And Avery, what's the perimeter going to be? Okay, so 3 plus 4 plus 5 will give you 12. Okay, and then to find the area of the base, Gina, what's the formula I have to use?
You're going to do 3 times 4 divided by 2.
Which is, what's the formula for the area of the triangle?
1/2 base times height.
Yeah, 1/2 times base times height. So you are going to use the 4 and the 3. Okay, so your height, you know, has to go with a right angle. Okay, and then your base is going to form the other part of that right angle. So that's why you want to use the 4 and the 3. You don't want to use the 5. Okay, so then, Logan, what's my final answer going to be for the area of the base? 6. Okay, so half of 12 is going to be 6. Now, what's my height going to be? Riley, what do you think? What's my height going to be for this?
2.
How do you find that?
Because if you just like flip the top figure over,
Okay. So you're thinking of it like that? Or no? Okay. Right, so the height always goes from base to base. So from triangle to triangle, you have to find what this depth is. And this is going to be 2 because it's going to match the same depth of the rectangular prism. Okay, so then your h value is going to be 2. All right, so then we can plug all those into our formula and do our calculations. So we found that the perimeter was 12, the height is 2, and again the height goes from base to base, and then we're going to do 2 times the area of the base. So 12 times 2 is 24, 2 times 6 is 12, 24 plus 12 is 36, and then this is still centimeters cubed. Hey, now if we're going to find the surface area, we just want the area that is on the outside of that shape. Okay? What we found is the surface area of those separately. So what we have to remove are the overlapping parts. Okay? What part is overlapping?
the top of the bottom.
Yeah, okay, so you can think of it as the top of that prism, right? Can you guys see how this is overlapping? How we found that area twice, and we don't even need it once for the surface area. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to subtract that part. Okay, so I'm just going to write a note so when you look back, you know why we did this. So we need to remove which are the two rectangular areas inside the composite figure. These will not be part of the surface area. Okay, so let's go ahead and find out what that area would be. So again, it's going to be a 4 by 2 rectangle, so the area would be 8 centimeters squared. So you can do this a couple of different ways. You can either add those together first and then subtract the 8 twice, or you can subtract it from each shape. So if you do the 52 minus 8 to get 44 for the rectangular prism, and then you can do 36 minus 8, which will give you 28. This would be for the triangular prism. Then you can just add those together. Which will give you 72 centimeters squared. Right? Or you could also just add 52 and 36 and subtract what? 16. Okay, so you could also do 52 plus 36 minus 16. That will give you 72 as well. Okay, questions for me on that? All right, let's move it to the back then. Okay, for example 4, we're going to explore the effects of changing dimensions. So the edge length of the cube is tripled. What we have to do is describe the effect on the surface area. Okay, so first let's look at the original. Okay, so the original what is the area of each face in the original? 64. Okay, so the area of each face is 64. So when I'm finding the surface area for that, I can just multiply by the number of faces. So the surface area would be the number of faces times 64. Okay, so then you could figure out right away that the surface area is 384 centimeters squared. Okay, and that's for the original. Now, let's find it when the edge is tripled. When the edge is tripled, instead of 8, Logan, what is each side going to be? 24. Okay, so to find out what the area is, you could just square that. Okay, so 24 squared is going to give you 576. And then since there's still 6 faces, your surface area is going to be 6 times 576. Okay, so then the surface area of the new one would be 3,456. If you want to figure out what the effect is on the surface area, Tina, do you know what we're going to do? you're gonna divide. So you're gonna find the ratio. Okay, so your ratio of the new to the original is 3,456 over 384. Right? And you're either going to reduce it or it'll go into it evenly. And does this one go into it evenly? Yeah, how many times? Good. Okay, so we're going to just write a statement. Say, therefore, when the edge is tripled, the surface area increases by 9 times. Okay, so when the edge is tripled, the surface area is going to increase by 9 times. Okay, and then the last one we're going to do is an application problem. So there's a sporting goods company that sells tents in 2 styles that are shown below. The sides and the floor of each tent are made of nylon. What do you have to find, you ask? Well, we're going to write that right here. So which tent requires less nylon to manufacture? So basically, you need to find which of these 2 tents has what? Yeah, the smaller surface area. So the smaller surface area is going to require the less nylon to manufacture. Okay, so this one is called a pup tent. Do we have any campers in here? Any pup tents? When I was little, I always wanted to spend the night in the tent in the backyard. But my parents never wanted me to do that. You guys did not have the same dreams and aspirations. Right, so the surface area is still going to be the perimeter times the height plus 2 times the base. Okay, and then so I'm going to draw what the base is for this tent. Right, so we know that the base is going to be this triangle here. What's that? Right, so we understand that this is going to be the base of the tent, right? Okay, so the bases have to be parallel to each other. Okay, so this triangle is going to be parallel to this triangle. So we know that those are the 2 bases. So we know that every single side is going to be 8 feet, which means that this is what type of triangle? Yeah, it's equilateral. Okay, so in an equilateral triangle, you can have a bisector that goes right down the middle. Okay, because in order to find the area, we are eventually going to have to find the height. The perimeter we can find pretty easily. Because they're all 8, we can just do 8 times 3, and we know the perimeter is going to be 24. Okay, to find the area of the base, we have to use that the area is 1/2 times base times height. So we have that the base is 8, but now we have to find the height. What are we going to have to use to find it?
Pythagorean.
Yep, the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so in order to do that, I can just look at this half of the triangle, where this part is 8. What would this part be? 4. Okay, and you could use your Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, are some of you thinking you can do it a different way? I didn't know if any of you were looking to use SOHCAHTOA.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, you could do that too, because you know that every angle is what? Bless you. Every angle is going to be 60, right? So you could set up, this would be opposite over hypotenuse, and you could use your sine as well. Okay, so if I set this up with h, remember the hypotenuse is the c value. So this will be 4 squared plus h squared equals 8 squared. And 4 squared is 16, so I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. 8 squared I know is 64, so 64 minus 16 is going to be 48. And I want to keep this as exact as possible, so I'm just going to leave this as a simplified value. Do you guys know the biggest perfect square that goes into 48? 16. 16 times 3. Okay, so then to find the area, I would do 1/2 times 8 times 4 root 3. And I'm going to leave it exact as long as possible. So 1/2 times 8 is what? 4. 4 times 4 root 3 is going to be what?
16.
Yeah, 16 root 3. Okay, so this is the area for the base, which we call B. Okay, so B is going to be 16 root 3. Okay, so now we can find the surface area. Okay, so the surface area is going to be the perimeter, which was 24, times the height. So what is the height of this tent? So remember, the height goes from what to what? Base to base. Yep, so it'll be 8, because it'll be this part right here. Okay, so this is going to be the height. Okay, so it's okay that the height is not going up and down. It's okay that it's not vertical. It can be horizontal. So 24 times 8 plus 2 times 16 root 3 is going to give us 192 plus 2 times 16 is 32. And now I can take the square root. So square root of 3, multiply that by 32. And then add 192. And we're just going to round it to the nearest tenth. Okay, so Luke, did you get that one? Luke, what'd you get for the surface area?
247.43.
Good. So I'm going to round it to 247.4, and this is going to be feet squared. Okay, so now I need to find the surface area for the tunnel tent. Okay, and what is the shape of the tunnel tent? It's, yeah, what part of it? It's half of a cylinder. You have a question for me?
It says that only the sides and floor are made.
Yes.
So
this side of it. Yeah. So your tunnel tent is going to be half of a cylinder. So when we're looking at the equation for a cylinder, we have to remember that we're going to end up multiplying that by a half. Okay, so the surface area I'm going to do 1/2 multiplied by my equation. So remember the equation for your lateral area is, the 2 pi RH. And then you're going to add that to 2 times the base. We will, and then we'll convert it. So you have 2 pi r squared. Okay, and we can figure out what the radius is and what the height is. Okay, so Xavier, what's the radius for this tent I have here?
4 feet.
It would be 4 feet, right? Because they gave us what? Which is the diameter, right? So the radius is going to be 4. Okay, so this will be 1/2, 2 pi. My r value is 4. And then, Maddie Harris, what's my height going to be for this? Good. Okay, so your height is going to be, again, horizontal. And then we already found the r, which was 4, so now all we have to do is evaluate. So what's 4 times 8? 32. 32 times 2? 64, so I have 64 pi, plus 4 squared is 16. 16 times 2? 32. Okay, so then when you add 32 and 64, you get 96. And then half of 96 is 48. Okay, so what we did is we found the surface area for half of a cylinder. And in addition to that, this one has what type of base? A rectangular base. So remember, the surface area for a cylinder does not include this portion, which is the base of this tent. Okay, because remember, a cylinder, the surface area is just going to be everything around the outside. So what do we have to do to this 48 pi? You have to add to it, right? Okay, so what you have is half of a cylinder plus a rectangle base. Okay, so the surface area of the base would be 8 times 8, or 64. So that means the total surface area would be 48 pi plus 64, which we are going to convert to a decimal. Did some of you already find that? Plus the 64? What'd you get? 214.8 feet squared. Right, so for this one, you can't add the 64 and the 48 together. Why is that? And one of them has pi, one of them doesn't. So you can only add them together if they both have the pi. So what we're going to do is 48 times pi first, and and then we're gonna add the 64 to that. Okay, so now here are my 2/10, right? Which one is gonna use less nylon? Yep, the tunnel tent, right? So, the answer to our question is that the tunnel tent requires less nylon. Okay, and then for your homework today, you're going to do a worksheet, and I'm going to pass out to you. You love worksheets?